The arrival of humanity. The Council of Seven had ruled the galaxy for nearly 10,000 cycles, their combined fleets maintaining what they called harmonious order across 17,000 inhabited worlds. They were the undisputed masters of known space, the Arthean collective with their living ships, the crystalline Vicari whose bodies existed partially in another dimension, the gaseous nebula who communicated through light pulses, the insectoid Craxi whose hive minds spanned entire planets, the amphibious Morith whose technological innovation was unrivaled, the silicon-based Quarians whose lifespans measured in millennia, and the mysterious Shadow Walkers whose true form no being had ever witnessed. Supreme Commander Teruk of the Craxi gazed at the holographic display, showing the Council's combined defense fleet. 300 warships representing the most devastating concentration of firepower in the known galaxy. The fleet hovered near the outer reaches of the Arcturus system, a strategic location that served as the gateway to the Council's core territories. Another cycle of peace, remarked Ambassador Ela of the Morith, her voice bubbling through the liquid environment of her communication chamber. The barbarians of the Outer Rim grow quieter each passing cycle. Teruk clicked his mandibles in a gesture of agreement. Our dominance is absolute. No species dares challenge the Council's authority. That certainty shattered precisely 13 minutes later. The quantum alarm screamed across every ship in the defense fleet. Space itself seemed to fold inward at a point approximately 3 million kilometers from the fleet's position. The sensors went wild, then dead, then recalibrated to display something impossible. A ship had appeared, not through any known form of faster-than-light travel. It had simply manifested. "What am I seeing?" Teruk demanded, his compound eyes struggling to process the image. The vessel was unlike any in the Council's extensive databases. It measured nearly 8 kilometers from bow to stern, dwarfing even the largest Quarian dreadnoughts. Its hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, giving it the appearance of a ship-shaped void in space. Strange geometric patterns pulsed along its surface in blues and whites. "Unknown configuration," reported the sensor officer. "Material composition, unknown. Energy signature, unknown. Method of arrival, unknown." "Hail them," ordered Teruk, feeling an unfamiliar sensation spreading through his thorax. It took him a moment to recognize it as fear. "No response on standard frequencies," came the reply. "Wait, they're broadcasting." A voice filled the command chamber, speaking perfect Craxi, though no known species outside the Council had ever mastered the complex tonal language. "This is Captain Helena Chen of the Earth ship Prometheus. We represent humanity. We've been observing your Council for some time. We request an audience." The message repeated in the native language of every Council species simultaneously. "Impossible," whispered Ela. "That would require intimate knowledge of not just our languages, but our neurological structures." Teruk maintained his composure. "Tell them to identify their point of origin and state their intentions." "We have identified ourselves," came the immediate reply, though they had not yet transmitted Teruk's message. "Our point of origin is Earth, third planet of the Sol system, a system your Council has visited and designated uninhabitable 14 of your cycles ago." Silence fell across the command chamber. "Impossible," Teruk finally said. Sol was surveyed. It contained no sentient life above primitive level. "Your survey was accurate," the human voice replied. "At that time, we were primitive by your standards. We detected your probes. We learned from them. We evolved." A new image appeared on the display. A small blue planet, teeming with primitive structures. Then a time-lapse showing an explosion of development, cities growing, energy signatures multiplying, orbital structures appearing. 14 cycles, muttered one of the Quarian observers. "No species advances that quickly. It's genetically impossible." "We wish to apply for Council membership," continued Captain Chen. "We believe we have much to offer." Teruk exchanged glances with the other Council representatives present. A species this primitive, regardless of their unusual ship, applying for council membership. The audacity was almost amusing. "Your request is noted," Tarak replied formally. "However, council membership requires demonstration of specific technological, societal, and military capabilities. Your single vessel, while unusual, hardly qualifies." "Perhaps a demonstration is in order," interrupted Chen. Before any response could be made, the Prometheus began to move. Not gradually, as ships did when activating propulsion systems, but instantly, as if it had disappeared from one location and reappeared at another. It now positioned itself directly between two gas giants in the system. "Observe," said Chen. A section of the Prometheus's hull reconfigured itself, forming what appeared to be an aperture. Energy readings spiked to levels that caused several monitoring systems to overload. A beam of blue-white light lanced out, striking the smaller of the two gas giants. The planet didn't explode. It didn't fragment. Instead, the beam seemed to pass through it, leaving a perfectly cylindrical tunnel of empty space from one side of the planet to the other. A tunnel large enough to fly a capital ship through. "By the first egg," whispered Tarak. "A precision demonstration," Captain Chen explained. "Had we wished, we could have converted the entire planet to energy. We calculate the yield would have been sufficient to destabilize this star." Alarms blared as the defense fleet's automated systems registered the threat and moved to combat readiness. "Hold positions," Tarak commanded frantically. "Maintain defensive posture only." "A wise decision," Chen said. "We come in peace, but we will not be dismissed." The holographic display shifted again, showing not just the Prometheus, but what lay behind it. A spatial distortion that seemed to ripple like water. Through this distortion, shadowy shapes could be seen. Many shapes. "This is but one ship of our exploration fleet," Chen continued. "The first of many. We have spent the last 14 cycles preparing for this moment. Your probes gave us a glimpse of the galaxy. We have spent every moment since then ensuring we would be ready when we stepped onto the galactic stage." Ambassador Ila's voice trembled slightly as she asked, "What do you want from us?" "As I said, we wish to join the Council, not as supplicants, but as equals. We bring new technologies, new perspectives, new possibilities. Your Council has maintained the status quo for millennia. We offer change." Tarak felt his exoskeleton chill at the implications. "You must understand, Captain Chen, that Council matters are complex. Your appearance is unexpected. We require time to consult, to evaluate." "Of course," Chen replied, with what sounded almost like amusement. "We expected as much. To facilitate this evaluation, we've taken the liberty of sending diplomatic envoys to each of your homeworlds simultaneously." The command chamber erupted in chaos as reports flooded in from across Council space. Human ships, smaller than the Prometheus, but no less intimidating, had appeared in orbit around each of the 7 Council homeworlds. "This is an act of war," sputtered the Vicari representative, his crystalline form vibrating with alarm. "This is an introduction," corrected Chen. "Had we wished for war, this conversation would be very different. We simply wish to ensure that our application receives appropriate priority." Tarak fought to maintain control of the situation. "We will convene an emergency council session. Until then, maintain your current position and take no further action." "Agreed," said Chen. "We await your decision." As the communication ended, Tarak turned to the assembled representatives, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "How is this possible?" demanded the Quarian elder. "No species evolves from primitive to this level of technology in 14 cycles. It violates every known pattern of development." "They must have had outside help," suggested Ila. "Perhaps an unknown benefactor, or discovered ancient technology." The Shadow Walker representative, a vaguely humanoid figure shrouded in darkness, spoke for the first time, its voice a whisper that everyone somehow heard clearly. "Or perhaps we have gravely underestimated this species. Perhaps they are not what they appear to be." As the arguments continued, Tarak gazed at the image of the Prometheus hanging in space like a promise or a threat. Aboard the Prometheus, Captain Helena Chen looked out at the stars from the observation deck. Behind her stood Admiral Marcus Wei, his weathered face reflecting the starlight. "They're afraid," Chen said quietly. We nodded, as they should be. Humanity's path to this moment has been paved with the blood and sweat of generations. When their probes found us, we were busy killing each other. Their arrival united us like nothing before. And now we stand at the threshold of a new era, Chen finished. The question is whether they'll welcome us or fear us. Either way, Wei said, the galaxy will never be the same again. As they watched, hundreds of smaller ships began emerging from the spatial rift behind them. Humanity's fleet, ready to take its place among the stars. The reckoning. 3 days had passed since the arrival of the Prometheus, and the Emergency Council session had reached its 14th hour with no consensus in sight. The Grand Council chamber on the neutral world of Nexus throbbed with tension as representatives from all 7 species argued bitterly. "We cannot allow this upstart species to dictate terms," thundered Sovereign Guide Pax of the Vicari, his crystalline form pulsating with agitated light. "Their technology is formidable, yes, but our combined might is greater." Supreme Commander Tarek shuddered in disagreement. "You saw what one of their ships did to the gas giant. Our intelligence suggests they have at least 500 vessels of similar capability. We cannot risk open conflict." "We have ruled this galaxy for 10 millennia, rasped Elder Cronus of the Quarians, silicon fragments grinding together as he spoke. "We will not be intimidated by primitives, regardless of what toys they've built." Ambassador Ela bubbled urgently in her fluid chamber. "The humans claim to seek peaceful relations. Perhaps we should take them at their word." "Naivety," spat Prime Consciousness of the Nebula, flashing angry pulses of light. "They appeared simultaneously at all our homeworlds. This was no diplomatic overture, it was a show of force." As the debate raged on, the Shadow Walker representative, known only as the Void Speaker, remained silent. Finally, as a momentary lull fell over the chamber, the shadowy figure spoke. "We have analyzed the humans extensively," the Void Speaker whispered in its unsettling voice. "They are unlike any species we have encountered. Their neural pathways demonstrate both remarkable plasticity and stubborn resilience. Their history is one of constant conflict, yet also profound cooperation. They are paradoxical beings. All the more reason to crush them now," insisted Pax, "before they become a true threat." The chamber doors slid open before anyone could respond. A human figure entered, Captain Helena Chen, flanked by 2 others in similar dark uniforms. The council chamber fell silent as the 3 humans approached the central platform. "Forgive our intrusion," Chen said pleasantly, "but after 3 days, we thought perhaps we could facilitate your deliberations." "How did you bypass our security?" demanded Tarek, mandibles clicking rapidly. Chen smiled. "The same way we bypassed your defenses at the gas giant. The same way we appeared at your homeworlds. The same way I'm standing here now. Technology you don't yet understand." She gestured to her companions. "Allow me to introduce Admiral Marcus Wei, commander of our expeditionary fleet, and Dr. Sophia Nakamura, our chief cynoanthropologist." Dr. Nakamura stepped forward. She appeared older than the others, with silver-streaked hair and eyes that seemed to see beyond the physical. "We've studied your council extensively. 7 species, each bringing unique strengths, united in maintaining galactic stability. A noble goal, but one achieved through stagnation rather than growth." "How dare you?" began Pax, but Nakamura continued as if he hadn't spoken. "Your council has maintained peace by suppressing advancement. Any species that develops too quickly is managed. Their development guided along approved channels or halted entirely. You've created a galactic zoo, not a galactic civilization." The accusation hung in the air like a physical thing. The council members exchanged glances, none willing to confirm or deny the human's assertion. Admiral Wei spoke next, his voice deep and commanding. When your probes found Earth, we were primitive by your standards. But those probes contained information, not just about your technology, but about your societies, your histories, your conflicts. We learned from them. We evolved. Impossible, insisted Elder Cronus. No species evolves that quickly. Most don't, agreed Wei. But humans have one trait that sets us apart. Adaptability. We don't just learn, we transform. When faced with overwhelming challenges, we don't just overcome them, we redefine the parameters of success. Fine words, said Tarek, but they do not address the fundamental issue. Your presence disrupts the balance we have maintained for millennia. Perhaps that balance needs disrupting, suggested Chen. Your 7 species have ruled unchallenged for too long. You've grown comfortable in your dominance, resistant to change. The galaxy is poorer for it. The void speaker leaned forward, shadows writhing around its indistinct form. You speak of disrupting the balance, yet you must realize such disruption invites chaos. Is that your intention? To plunge the galaxy into war? Quite the opposite, Chen replied. We seek to prevent stagnation. Life that doesn't evolve dies. Civilizations that don't advance collapse. Your council has slowed galactic development to a crawl to maintain your primacy. We offer an alternative. And what alternative is that? Asked Ambassador Ila, her liquid environment rippling with curiosity. Chen smiled. Partnership. True partnership. Not the hierarchical structure you've imposed on the galaxy, but genuine cooperation. Not 7 species deciding the fate of thousands, but a true galactic community where all voices are heard. Preposterous, exclaimed Pax. Such a system would be ungovernable. Only if you lack imagination, countered Dr. Nakamura. Humanity has experimented with countless forms of governance throughout our history. We've learned that the most resilient systems are those that adapt, that incorporate diverse perspectives, that evolve. And if we refuse this partnership? Asked Tarek, already suspecting the answer. Admiral Wei's expression hardened. Then we will proceed without you. We've already made contact with 23 species your council has deliberately kept isolated from galactic affairs. Species with potential that threatens your dominance. They're eager for the opportunity we offer. The chamber erupted in outrage, but the humans stood unmoved amid the chaos. When the noise finally subsided, Chen spoke again. We didn't come here to threaten you. We came to invite you into a new era. But make no mistake, that era is coming, with or without your cooperation. The void speaker's dark form seemed to condense, becoming more solid than anyone had ever seen. You claim to seek partnership, yet you arrive with overwhelming force. You speak of cooperation, yet you make demands. How are you different from those you criticize? A fair question, Chen acknowledged. The difference is intent. We don't seek to rule. We seek to uplift. We don't demand obedience. We invite collaboration. And most importantly, we're offering you a choice. What choice? Asked Ila. Join us in building something new, or remain wedded to your old order as it crumbles around you. Evolution doesn't ask permission. Change doesn't wait for consensus. The future is coming. The only question is whether you'll help shape it or be shaped by it. A tense silence fell over the chamber. Finally, to everyone's surprise, it was Elder Kronos who spoke. In 10,000 years of council deliberations, no one has dared speak to us as you have. Yet, there is wisdom in your words. Perhaps we have grown too comfortable in our certainties. The admission sent shockwaves through the chamber. Elder Kronos, the most conservative voice on the council, showing openness to human ideas. This is madness, protested Pax. They threaten our very way of life. No, countered Ila, her voice gaining strength. They challenge our assumptions. There is a difference. The debate that followed was unlike any in council history. For the first time in millennia, fundamental questions were being asked. What was the true purpose of the council? Was stability worth the cost of stagnation? Could a more inclusive model of galactic governance actually work? As the arguments raged, Admiral Wei leaned closer to Chen. "This is going better than expected," he murmured. Chen nodded slightly. Division within their ranks was inevitable. Their alliance has always been one of convenience, not conviction. Now we wait to see which of them has the courage to embrace change. That courage came from an unexpected source. The Void Speaker, representative of the most mysterious and secretive of the Council species, rose to its full height, shadows swirling around it like a cloak. "The Shadow Walkers have observed from the darkness for millennia," it intoned. "We have watched civilizations rise and fall. We have seen the pattern of history repeat itself countless times. And now we see something new. Something interesting." All eyes turned to the shadowy figure. Humanity offers not just technological advancement, but philosophical innovation. They have achieved in 14 cycles what most species cannot achieve in thousands. Such potential cannot be dismissed or destroyed. The Void Speaker turned to face Chen directly. "The Shadow Walkers will hear more of this partnership you propose." One by one, the other council members made their positions known. The Morith and the Nebula joined the Shadow Walkers in expressing cautious openness to human ideas. The Quarians remained neutral, willing to observe but not commit. Only the Vicari and the Craxi remained firmly opposed. "This is not finished," warned Pax as the session adjourned. "You may have swayed some with your grand visions, humans, but remember, we have ruled for 10,000 cycles. Our influence runs deep throughout the galaxy." "Indeed it does," agreed Chen. "But influence based on fear has always proven fragile when faced with an alternative. We're offering that alternative." As the council members departed, Chen, Wei, and Nakamura remained in the chamber, looking out at the stars visible through the vast, transparent dome overhead. "Phase 1 complete," Wei said quietly. "They're divided, just as we predicted." Nakamura nodded. "The real work begins now. Building this new galactic order won't be easy, especially with the Vicari and Craxi actively working against us." "We expected resistance," Chen reminded them. "Humanity's path has never been smooth, but we've overcome every obstacle so far. We'll overcome this one too." She gazed up at the stars, thinking of Earth, so distant now, yet still the heart of everything they were fighting for. "When their probes found us, we were on the brink of self-destruction. Their arrival gave us purpose, unity, direction. Now we'll do the same for this galaxy." "For Earth," said Wei solemnly. "For the future," added Nakamura. Chen nodded, her eyes reflecting the light of countless stars. "For humanity." Outside the council chamber, news of the humans' proposal spread rapidly across the galaxy. On thousands of worlds, beings of all species looked to the stars with new eyes, wondering what this new era might bring. Fear mingled with hope, uncertainty with anticipation. The galaxy would never be the same again. And that was exactly what humanity had intended all along. When humanity's battleship entered the galaxy, fear had indeed followed. But in its wake came something far more powerful: possibility.